Olive, the Other Reindeer. Weird place to start, right? I mean, this can't be that forgotten, since I think Cartoon Network airs it every year. In America, at least. You see, I've gotten a lot of requests to include this one if I ever made another list, and it's usually from people in the UK. I guess it appeared once and never showed up again. Kinda like how The Forgotten Toys was for me, even though it was based on a well-known TV show over there. So this one starts off the list for all those viewers over the pond. Happy Christmas. Based off a book and produced by Matt Groening, this is the story of a small dog that doesn't really act like one.
How are your dog chores coming? Did you bury any bones today?
No, Tim.
Chase any cars or cats?
Afraid not.
Did you even make a token attempt to tear up any flower beds?
Uh-uh.
And I haven't heard any senseless barking at all.
Woof?
I don't know how you can call yourself a dog, Olive.
But her life seems to come into focus when she hears some bad news over the radio.
Blitzen the reindeer was injured earlier today during a practice flight and won't recover in time.
Maybe somehow we'll make do with all of the other reindeer. But if not, Merry Christmas anyway.
Did Santa just say Olive, the other reindeer?
So Olive sets off on a journey to the North Pole, spreading Christmas joy and optimism wherever she goes.
Hey, everybody! Don't despair! I'm Olive, and I'm going to the North Pole to help Santa. I'm the other reindeer.
Olive! 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 Olive. Okay.
You know, I'm kind of glad I get to talk about this. I do consider it the last of the network animated specials. Now they're all shorts based off DreamWorks movies. The style is really unique too. The characters are like paper dolls in 3D space. Captures the illustrated style while allowing the story to interact in a more cinematic space. It's also got a great cast. Joe Pantoliano as a con-man penguin with a heart of plated gold.
Haven't you people ever seen a small dog-like reindeer before?
Dan Castellaneta plays an overworked mailman who tries his hardest to stop Olive from saving Christmas.
One flimsy little Christmas card. Surely that can't be too hard, but multiply it a billionfold and see why Christmas leaves me cold. Christmas, bah, bug and hum.
And Drew Barrymore is Olive, and I think she does a great job. But if the role called for singing...
Every day's special, I'm not complaining, but I'm always counting the days still remaining till Christmas.
Well, she more than makes up for that with her usual energy and charisma.
Oh, sorry.
How she actually saves Christmas is a little weird. She's kind of superfluous to the problem Santa thought he had, flying short one deer, but comes in really handy when it's time to sniff out the gifts stolen by the evil mailman. So if she had never gone to Santa, then he would have never showed up, but then Santa probably wouldn't have... No, never mind. Hooray for Olive, the other Oh my god, I just got where that's from.
Olive, the other reindeer, you'll go down in history.
Santa and the Three Bears. This special is public domain, so it's been a kind of tradition of bargain bin video selections for decades. It was produced by Pirates World. Wait, like Pirates World? Like Riff Trax' Pirates World? The same Pirates World that brought us this?
And then this weird-looking striped mascot thing hopped around a papier-mâché mushroom.
Santa, why are you telling us this?
Well, if it is, the quality is way above the average work for the, would I even call it a studio? Although there is an alternative version that's not on most formats. It has live action segments that extend the runtime from 45 to 75 minutes. And guess what? It's a lot of filler. Anyway, this is the story of two rambunctious bear cubs that learn about Christmas. I guess calming is the best way to describe this special. It just moves from one pleasant holiday set piece to another, guided by a gentle soundtrack. You know those fireplace DVDs? I think this special achieves the desired effect without making you feel like an idiot for staring at a cold screen. It's just soothing to hear the park ranger, played by Hal Smith, tell the cubs about Christmas, Santa Claus, and just all the wonderful things you get to see around this time of year. You know what? I'm actually kind of jealous of this park ranger's ability to draw. But you know, he just seems a little too happy to be by himself on Christmas.
There's something wonderful about this time of the year. Makes a man feel good about living.
Like he's trying to overcompensate. Kind of makes me nervous that he might snap.
Fire is the cleanser. Fire is the cleanser. Fire is the cleanser.
I guess the conflict of the story is that the mama bear is upset that the ranger got her cubs all excited about Santa.
Well, it's all sort of an old legend.
You mean it's not true? Have you been fibbing to my kids?
I think this is what happens when kids that celebrate Christmas tell kids of families who don't celebrate Christmas. Is there such a thing as a Jewish bear? Oh my god. Well, the ranger comes up with a plan to dress as Santa and bring the cubs some stockings on Christmas. But by the time he gets through a storm, he finds out that someone beat him to it. Yeah, it's formulaic, but it still has that sweet Christmas charm to it. And it's a much better alternative to this. Santa versus the Snowman. This was an early production by O Entertainment, the studio founded by Steve Odekirk, writer and or director of Kung Pao Enter the Fist, Jimmy Neutron, Barnyard, and Cowboys vs. Aliens. He's my kind of guy. He loves animation, fighting, and off-color humor just outside the kids' radar.
She totally surprised me, came right in. I had to make something up. I told her I was just trying it on for a few minutes. Hold it. No, I was wearing it. No, I mean, check this out.
The story is pretty simple. A lonely snowman wants to take over Christmas so he can be loved just as much as Santa. He does this, but the toys he brings melt as soon as he gives them away because they're made out of ice.
The guy must have had a brain freeze.
Santa forgives the snowman as soon as he realizes he just wants attention, and the two have been best friends ever since. Honestly, the story is really just an excuse to show the most violent warfare atrocities that can befall a snowman. There's also some of those gag reels at the end. They're okay. I'd mention this just because Jonathan Winters is playing Santa Claus, and it's just weird seeing one of history's greatest improv artists give such a stiff, spontaneous delivery.
It's over, Snowman. You lost an eye there, Snowman.
He doesn't really cover any new ground, but if you ever want to see Santa Claus pilot a Nutcracker Megazord, well, then this is your year, my friend. Christmas in Tattertown. Oh boy, a Christmas special from the same guy that made Fritz the Cat, Wizards, and Cool World. Break out the Christmas tree and add a little artificial snow for that extra pinch of magic. This was actually a pilot for a series Bashki pitched to Nickelodeon. A 34-episode deal was made, but Nickelodeon backed out.
Welcome to Tattertown. This is the place where everything you've ever lost winds up. And I do mean wind up.
Oh, for a second there I thought you were going to emphasize everything, as to make some kind of poignant statement about losing abstract ideas such as love and hope. But I guess a goofy bit is much more satisfying. A little taste of the backstory. A girl named Debbie finds a magic book that plops her and her dolls right into Tattertown. Problem is, Muffet hates being Debbie's doll. Bitter from all the love and attention, she runs away to the Deadster Zone, where she cooks up nasty surprises for her former master and the rest of Tattertown, leaving Debbie to lament the loss of her favorite toy.
Why, I can remember when I got her for Christmas.
What's a Christmas?
What? You mean you don't know what Christmas is?
And so Debbie decides to gather up all the Christmas junk she can find and give Tattertown a proper Christmas. Which of course doesn't sit well with Muffet, who tries her best to ruin her former owner's plan. Kinda sad when all the other lost and forgotten objects actually dream of having owners for Christmas. But of course, being a Bashki production, there are too many bizarre moments to count.
My face! pie!
And plenty of non sequiturs.
Let's go searching.
You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
Although the Jewish Christmas tree did make me laugh.
Christmas tree, hey, what do I know about Christmas? I'm a shopkeeper.
But there's no competition.
No. Oh, hey. Well, me see, you've talked me into it. Where do I sign, huh?
You know, Bashki is really hit or miss with me. But I have to say, I would like to have seen this turned into a series. Debbie's just a button. Muffet is actually a pretty cool villain, and the setting is fun and imaginative. As for a Christmas special, it's okay. It's a little too busy for its own good. But there are sweet moments, especially when Debbie is describing Christmas.
We have one of these on our front door. When friends and relatives come over, we'd open the door, and a little flurry of snow would fall off the roof.
Somebody do something. Debbie is leaking.
So for a truly unique vision of Christmas, head on down to Tattertown.
Now you can be my dolly again.
12 Tiny Christmas Tales. As the title implies, this is a collection of 12 short stories by Bill Plympton, a veteran of animation known for his unique surreal style and black humor, such as his 2001 film Mutant Aliens, about an abandoned astronaut fighting his way back to Earth so he can use alien animal hybrids to get his revenge. And he made a Christmas special!
First, you cut off the arms and legs, peel back the skin, then drop in boiling oil. Goodness gracious.
Actually, it's a lot tamer than his other works. Like the one where Blitzen, the Christopher Walken-voiced reindeer, tries to become a professional stand-up comedian.
How do Eskimos keep their houses stuck together? With igloo!
Should have read The Three Little Pigs.
Oink, oink!
Or Cecil, the snowman that fell in love. Now, all these stories are short and sweet, so it would actually take me longer to talk about them than to just show them to you. That's because the real star is the visuals. And it's not completely devoid of Plympton's signature humor, like the story of the killer snowflake whose execution creates a second snowflake. And every tiny snowflake that falls is one of their babies.
Good night, everybody.
Nothing epitomizes this like the wraparound segments. It looks warm and cozy, but if this is supposed to be Grandma telling the stories, then that makes this really creepy.
Now, children.
So if story time around the fire reminds you of Christmas, then this is the special for you. If implied incest reminds you of Christmas, then, well, go spend the holidays with the cinema snob. The Wish That Changed Christmas. This starts off strange, because it originally started with an intro from Ronald McDonald inviting some Fry Kids over for Christmas. Much like how Macy's created Rudolph as a promotional gimmick that went on to become a huge part of Christmas lore, other corporations have tried to make the next Christmas classic from time to time. I'm guessing that didn't work in this case. Probably because this is a very simple story that doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, you got this old woman who's married to this tightwad, and she wishes she had a child to share Christmas with.
Oh, Albert, why don't we have a Christmas tree this year?
It'd be a waste of money. We have no children to enjoy it.
But
we'll talk about this later, dear. I'm on duty.
What an asshole!
Then there's this doll who also wishes she had a kid. And finally, an orphan who wants to find both a family and have a doll for Christmas. Well, what happens is the narrator causes an accident that spells out the little girl's name out on a Christmas tree. The little girl gets so excited that she gets off the train before her stop and looks for whoever sent her the message. It could have been for anyone named Ivy, but it was meant for her, which just raises even more questions. It's never explained who this guy is. At first I thought he was the toy store assistant all grown up. But how could he go back and cause the story that he's telling?
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey.
Then you have an evil owl toy, another role by Jonathan Winters, who berates the little doll.
What is inventory?
A small dark room where no one sees you.
disturbs you, where you wait, covered with dust, and I'll be there!
What an asshole!
And then attacks the kid. Seriously, why did he do any of this? I mean, I realize he's a petty Grinch, but it comes out of nowhere and serves nothing other than to have a villain. Well, anyway, the little girl finds a lost key to the toy store. The cop takes the girl back home to spend Christmas with him and his wife, and the toy shop assistant gives the doll to her as a Christmas present. It's predictable, it's contrived, but damn is it beautiful. I mean it. I really enjoyed watching this, just for the style alone. It makes up for most of its shortcomings with atmosphere. It's like McDonald's gave me a really nice animated Christmas card. It was very nice of them. But I am not dropping the lawsuit. I am over 4 feet. I should be able to play in there.
And my wish? Well, I wish all of you the merriest Christmas ever.
A Flintstones Christmas Carol. Another year, another Christmas Carol. And being around over 30 years old at the time of this special, you'd think the Flintstones would have taken a crack at it sooner. But what makes this version special is that the characters are aware that they're in a play. And I don't mean like in the Mr. Magoo Christmas Carol, where they have the two end pieces. I mean they cut back and forth between play and reality. And life imitates art. But instead of money, Fred Flintstone starts to fixate on his performance as Scrooge.
Hey, we're in this play too, Flintstone.
Yeah, but there can only be one Scrooge.
Well, I guess they got the right guy.
To the point where he starts to neglect his family. He even forgets to pick up little pebbles after school. But as Fred acts out the play, he slowly realizes what's more important, his family or the fleeting admiration brought on by community theater.
It isn't much fun being ignored by your father and left all alone at school, is it?
Pebbles.
There's also a great subplot where a highly contagious flu incapacitates one actor after another.
Dino, you were the ghost? Well, what happened to Philo?
The bedrock bug.
As stage manager, Wilma ends up filling in for multiple roles, including Belle. And later, she ends up replacing one of the charity workers.
I know I've been a selfish, self-centered boo, but I've changed. Really, Wilma? None of this is in my script.
So Fred simultaneously apologizes to Wilma, and Scrooge makes amends with Belle. I can't think of any other Christmas Carol that has ever tried to get Scrooge and Belle back together. Probably because it never happened in the original, and also it would be too sappy or feel like it came out of nowhere. But they found a way to make it work, with a premeditated ass pull.
I'm going to my nephew's. Would you care to join me?
Is he, anything like you, Mr. Scrooge?
More like the man I used to be, and hope to be again.
That's genius. So if you're looking for an interesting twist on the classic Carol, this one is rock solid. The Little Troll Prince. So there is a society of trolls that live on a mountain. And like most trolls, they revel in the fact that they are bad trolls. But Boo, the Little Troll Prince, is actually very timid and, even worse, polite.
Father, can I sit down now?
So sit already!
Thank you.
Huh? What did you say? Don't you ever let me hear that language again! Is that clear? It happens every time. The minute you make me a little proud, you turn around and do something that makes me ashamed. Ashamed to call you my son.
By the way, Boo is played by a very young Danny Cooksey, who you might remember as Bobby on Salute Your Shorts, and the voice of Montana Max and Jack Spicer. Funny seeing him in this role, considering how his career went.
Get to be the bad guy, that's always, you can't beat, there's nothing more fun than being the bad guy.
Fed up, Boo's brothers and classmates trick the soon-to-be king into going to the nearby human village, where they tie him to a tree. They think people eat trolls, you see.
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my God!
But when two little girls find and tend to his injuries, Boo wonders how anyone could be so nice, and what all the decorating is about. So they tell him the story of Christmas and the birth of Christ. They even give him a little Bible, really detailed for a Christmas ornament, red print and everything.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yes, this is a religious cartoon depicting Boo's conversion to Christianity, which doesn't really go over well with the other trolls.
What do you believe?
I believe that on the first Christmas, God sent a Savior to love the whole world.
Christmas? Savior?
Usually people lie their asses off in court. So the more Boo confesses his newfound beliefs, the less troll-like he becomes, and they run him out of the kingdom. Luckily, he stumbles across two gnomes who help him start a new life. But you know what I find most interesting about this special? The Goblin King, played jointly by Vincent Price and, surprisingly, Jonathan Winters. Just never heard him use that voice before.
Nobody in my family ever had only one head.
It's clear by the end of the special that, in some way, they love and miss their son.
Boo has escaped. He'll get to the people. He'll tell them where we live. He'll.
He won't tell. Not on us. Let him go, Serena. It's over.
I wonder if Boo ever misses him, especially after the other gnomes turned into trees. They used to show this on Cartoon Network, and to be honest, I was actually surprised considering how theologically neutral holiday programming was becoming even then. But I think we can all support the idea of selflessness, generosity, unconditional love, and new starts.
God does love trolls!
Cool Like That Christmas. I have no idea if this is based off something or another pitch for a series. I just vaguely remember seeing it once when I was 8. I guess it's also known as Yuletide in the Hood, but I'm guessing that's more of IMBD's chicanery. Although it does remind me of a much, much, much tamer Boondocks. Nah, don't get mad. It's not racism. It's the urban demographic. Only where Boondocks is over the top and tongue-in-cheek with most of its material, this was probably genuine at the time.
Hey, yo, fellas, check it out, y'all. I'm in the house, y'all. Turn it out, y'all. It's not wiggity, 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 wiggity whack, y'all, but it's figgity, 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 figgity fat, y'all.
More bizarre is the fact that this was written by David Stephen Cohen, head writer for Courage the Cowardly Dog. This is basically a slice-of-life story as we follow these teenagers around for Christmas. We dedicate a good amount of screen time to plot cul-de-sacs, but the material is interesting enough.
Peace out next year in the motherland.
You're gonna quit saying that soon as you realize there ain't no Slurpees in Botswana.
I guess if there was a theme to this, it would be making mistakes and then genuinely trying to make up for it. Kinda. This kid Orlando knows his dad would really appreciate a new pair of shoes.
My feet hurt. My feet hurt.
But he selfishly ends up getting a pair of sneakers for himself. With no gift to give, he reluctantly sings in choir on Christmas Day.
Things I do for love. Oh, hear the angel voices.
Now that's a Christmas gift.
I do like how he clearly regrets the purchase, but returning the shoes is completely not an option.
Where can I turn? Who will help me? You guys got any ideas?
No.
There is a side plot involving a character finding a sack of drug money. At least that's what's implied. His girlfriend is mad at him, and he's got a murderous gangster on his back. So what's his solution?
You want it? Take it from the collection plate.
I love it! How are you gonna kill somebody for giving money to Jesus on Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
This place. Always something.
At times it seems corny and undeniably dated.
It's Dr. Dre and Ed Lover.
The lovable yet intimidating hosts of Yo MTV Raps.
And there are a few broken Aesops. But it's a real nostalgia trip for the 90s, and has a cast of some of my favorite voice actors, including Phil Lamar, who's actually the best character in the special.
I am moved to tears.
You're move the tears when the traffic light turns green?
Well, that means the children can walk.
Christmas every day. We've all seen this story in one form or another. Someone wishes to experience the joys of Christmas every day of the year, and they eventually end up regretting it.
Well, Tilly awoke that morning with eyes like muffins and a pounding head.
What? Why? What'd she do? Most people attribute this formula to one of the most heartwarming holiday classics of them all, Groundhog Day. But actually, the whole thing started with the short story Christmas Every Day, written in 1892 by author William Dean Howell. Right behind A Christmas Carol, it's the most imitated Christmas story there is. This 1987 animated Christmas special sticks pretty close to the source material. Yes, looking like a Pee-wee's Playhouse sketch, just as Howell envisioned. A little girl wishes on a special Christmas ornament, and a fairy grants her wish for Christmas every day. But only for a year.
Trust me on this one, kid.
Yes, ma'am.
I like how it becomes apparent that they are already tired of Christmas by day 3. They keep getting the same gifts, sick of the same food, hundreds of new puppies, and mass deforestation. I like how it's never explained if people are doing this out of habit, or if they have no choice. They actually go out on Christmas and chop down another tree for the next day? Or did they all just show up again?
Why the hell do you people keep putting Christmas decorations on display earlier and earlier each year?
We don't do it! They put themselves up. To make matters worse, they find out the little girl is responsible for making the wish, and she's soon ostracized from society.
I'm running away, Mrs. Jones.
Good.
Luckily, her family tracks her down and tells her to come home.
Tilly, we're your family. We love you.
Yes.
And we'll stand by you no matter what. Isn't that right, children? Children.
Yeah.
In most other versions, a character learns a lesson about selflessness or appreciating life, and that sorta happens here. But once that happens, the magic ends, and everything goes back to normal. Nope. These people have to ride out the entire 365 days of Christmas, until it finally runs out. So the story is more about the people that forgive you, and are willing to stick by you when things get tough, because they love you. So for its classic message and unique style, Christmas Every Day is worth a spot on your wish list. The Night Before Christmas. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean the night before Christmas. What am I looking at here? I couldn't tell you what I expected when I found this at my local dollar store. From the looks of it, I thought it was going to be some kind of weird, cheap little flash animation. But I had to get it just because it was starring Aries Spears.
Now watch this cartoon.
I don't care. I like Mad TV. Turns out it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. The designs are really rough, but the animation is comparable to something you'd find on a Deke cartoon. An elf named Elvin quits his job at the North Pole to start a new life as rapper Slim Shorty. Yeah, I know it's corny at times, but it's impressive that the whole thing is written in rhymes. Oh snap, look what I did just there.
So what's your name, dog? Slim Shorty's mine. At least it will be when I hit the big time.
My friends call me Puppy. That's short for Pup Daddy.
Then a voice from behind said,
Don't forget me, wee laddie. I'm Seamus Doremus O'Leary McShawn. Puppy just saved me from some yuppie's lawn. We're on an adventure, so glad you could join. We're heading to Cali to make us some coin.
So Shorty forms a band with a gnome. Why does he sound like a leprechaun? The Pup Daddy and his girlfriend, Jello. Meanwhile, at the North Pole, a flu has broken out and toy production has ceased. Probably sick of all these corny jokes. So now Shorty and the gang have to get back to the North Pole to save Christmas. But first they have to get past their nasty recording producer and his evil daughter. Why would dogs be afraid of other dogs? Luckily, the pure wonder of Santa's workshop caused the quickest heel turn in holiday history.
Oh, wow, this is cool. It's so cool, I believe if I came from this place, well, sir, I'd never leave.
Elvin was shamed when he thought of his blunder in leaving this land that was so full of wonder. But shame turned to pride, and it made him declare,
All right, man your station. Show Santa we care.
Not only does she help, but she actually shares her departed mother's cure for non-specific ailment. Wham bam, Christmas is back on, and everyone, even the mean old record producer, has a Merry Christmas. This is very basic, and I have to emphasize that I like Spears as a visual performer. But you can tell that this is a sincere attempt to make a fun holiday special. And it's not like the original Night Before Christmas was oozing with character development. So, not bad for a remix. At least there's no auto-tune, and everyone kept their clothes on.
So Merry Christmas, y'all, and to all, a good night.
The Boy Who Dreamed Christmas. Not dreamed of Christmas, just dreamed Christmas. A boy falls asleep on Christmas Eve, and the Sandman decides to take him to the North Pole to see Santa's workshop. But when they get there, they find that the workshop is bleak and barren.
Now don't worry, you'll all get your gifts. They just won't be from me, that's all.
Turns out Santa and his elves couldn't deal with the toy demand, so they built a robot to help them out. You could probably guess that it went Skynet on them, took over everything, and converted the workshop into a P.O. box.
Follow me. I will provide a tour. Listen carefully. There will be no replay. I built those fabulous computers to do the work of fools. They work 1,000 times as fast as rusty workshop tools. I take a printout for each child and make a backup file. The efficiency's enough to make the toy man smile.
Oh good. The one thing Pennywise didn't do. Rap. The nightmare is complete. Although I have to say whoever was animating the Toy Master was clearly having a lot of fun. He's probably the best thing about this special.
Yes, they call me Master Toy Master to you.
Now you're probably wondering, what's the problem? Hasn't Santa always used mass production in one form or another? The Toy Master is so cold and calculating. He's doing the job, but only to be smug and superior.
The Toy Master is ruler of all. Oh, how I hate saying that.
What was that?
Making toys was Santa's way of connecting with people and expressing his philosophy of giving. Like an art, it all comes down to Santa giving up something he loves to do in order to give the kids of the world more. When the boy sees what his bloated Christmas list is doing, he hacks into the Toy Master's computer, lucky he can do that, and starts deleting his list. He even sacrifices the bike he's always wanted to bring an end to the Toy Master's tyranny.
We were going so fast, I think we beat the devil.
So in the end, the boy learns not to take advantage of someone's kindness and gives Santa back the gift of giving.
Dear Peter, sorry you didn't get your bike. I hope you enjoyed this train as much as I did. Merry Christmas. Love, Santa.
This really is a Merry Christmas.
Woo, yeah! Force that enthusiasm!